We all know that one person who just seems lucky, right? I mean, everything just seems to go their way. And then maybe you feel like the total opposite, like you're the person who always gets stuck in the slowest line. So it makes you wonder, is luck just this random magical thing? Or could it actually be a skill that we can learn? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dig into the surprising science behind it all. So yeah, this is the big question, isn't it? Is it some mysterious force out there in the universe? Or is it a practical skill? For so long, we've just kind of accepted that it's all about fate. But it turns out science has a totally different answer. And honestly, it's a much more empowering one. Okay, so to figure out how to get lucky, we've actually got to start with the flip side, the unlucky mindset. Because it turns out that believing in bad luck isn't just some harmless superstition. It has a real, powerful, and measurable effect on your life. And trust me, that impact is huge. According to a really detailed study from the research firm Psych Tests, this belief that you're unlucky isn't just a small part of your personality. Nope, it actually shapes your decisions, your actions, and as we're about to see, even your mental health in a big way. This is where it gets really interesting. The Psych Test study looked at two groups, people who were really afraid of bad luck and people who were just more pragmatic. And the difference is, well, it's pretty shocking. A massive 62% of the people who feared bad luck just automatically expected things to go wrong. For the pragmatists, only 18%. That negative expectation becomes the lens for how they see everything. And that negative outlook leads straight to not taking action. I mean, look at this. 42% of the unlucky group let fear dictate their choices, and 37% just flat out avoid challenges. For the pragmatists, those numbers are less than half that. So basically, believing you're unlucky stops you from taking the very chances that might lead to a lucky break in the first place. And this is where things get really, really serious. That same study from Psych Tests found something that's honestly just sobering. 50%, that's half, of the group that feared bad luck also reported having suicidal thoughts. That is more than double the rate for the pragmatists. This is so much more than just missing out on opportunities. This mindset can have a truly devastating effect on mental health. So you might be asking, why? Why do people get stuck in this way of thinking? Well, Dr. Ilona Yarabek from Psych Tests explains it really well. She says it's just easier to believe some sinister shadow force is to blame when life feels chaotic. It lets you point the finger at something outside yourself. It's a way to cope, for sure, but it's a really damaging one. So we've seen the what, but what about the why? What's the deep down psychology going on here? Why is it so natural for us to just blame the stars or fate or whatever you want to call it? Let's get into the science of that feeling. So at the core of all this is a really solid psychological concept called attribution theory. You'll find it in a lot of academic sources like EBSCO research, and to put it simply, it's just the science of how our brains decide who or what gets the credit, or the blame, for the things that happen to us. Okay, so check this out. This framework shows how we explain things. We tend to see our own ability as something internal and stable. Our effort is internal too, but we know it can change. But look at where luck is. We're taught to see it as both external, something that happens to us, and unstable, meaning it's totally unpredictable. So this mental model basically teaches us from day one that luck is completely out of our hands. All right, hold on a sec. Before we get into the really good part, how to actually make yourself luckier, if you're getting something out of this, could you take a quick second to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe? It honestly helps our team a ton so we can keep making these for you. Thanks. Okay, enough doom and gloom about being unlucky. Let's totally flip the script. What's the secret of people who are lucky? Well, a huge, decade-long study by Professor Richard Wiseman at the University of Hertfordshire found the answer. And spoiler alert, it's not magic. It's not fate. It's all about your mindset. So what Professor Wiseman found were these 4 key differences. Lucky people are just better at seeing and then actually acting on random opportunities. They tend to trust their gut feelings. They expect good things to happen, and this is a big one, they're really resilient. They know how to turn bad luck into something good. It's not that bad things don't happen to them. It's all about how they react when they do. So Professor Wiseman basically boiled it all down into these 4 core principles. 1, maximize your opportunities. 2, listen to your intuition, those lucky hunches. 3, expect good things to happen. And 4, turn bad luck into good. But here's the absolute best part. These are not personality traits you're born with. They are skills, and that means anyone can learn them. So, if they're skills, then how do we actually learn them? Well, that brings us to our final section, your new toolkit, practical stuff you can use to start making your own luck, like today. So here are 3 super simple, actionable things you can do, all based on Professor Wiseman's research. First, just broaden your network. Lucky people create way more opportunities for themselves simply by being social and talking to more people. Second, break your routine. If you do the exact same thing every single day, you're not leaving any room for chance encounters. And third, reframe misfortune. When something bad happens, actively ask yourself, how could this have been worse, and what can I learn from this? That's how you build that resilience that lucky people have. So at the end of the day, luck really isn't some mystical force floating around out there. It's actually a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you believe you're lucky, your brain starts looking for opportunities. You're more willing to take chances, and you bounce back from setbacks faster. Your mindset and your actions literally combine to create your own fortune. And that brings us to the end. I just want to leave you with this one question to really chew on. Based on everything we just talked about, what is one small thing you're going to do differently tomorrow to start increasing your own luck? Thanks for watching.